This is a 1991 Alfa Romeo Spider, and it's the perfect car to cruise Southern California on a sunny day. This specific Alfa Romeo only has 36,000 miles on it, and it's all original besides the radio. Even the tires are from the factory. As you can see by this beautiful timeless design, it's designed by Pininfarina. That means it'll look good forever. It's got this classic, elegant, sleek shape. I love the way old cars have this big tail, no diffuser, just an exhaust pipe coming out from the middle. It's quite a unique look that you don't see anymore. So, starting with the front of this car, you can see Alfa Romeo still carries on a lot of design cues that this car has. For example, this little tiny front grille, you can see it on almost, I think, every current Alfa Romeo. It's just bigger. It's that same triangle shape with the logo. Now moving on to the side, these hole punched wheels are on all the Alfa Romeos too. They're just a little bit bigger and it's a little bit more skeletonized, obviously. Alright, so before I tell you about the engine in this car, I'm going to consult the workshop manual. And before I consult the workshop manual, I need to read the manual page on how to use the manual. Right on red. So about this engine. It's an inline 4, 2 liter, 119 horsepower, 118 pound-feet of torque. And it's quite lovely. I love how the engine is exposed. You can tinker with it if you'd like. It's not like a modern car where you have to take it to a dealer. An interesting quirk about this car is that there's a way to kill it. There happens to be a lot of ways to kill Alfa Romeos, but this is one of the more interesting ones. So underneath the car, the engine is actually kind of sunken down and it's very low to the ground. So if you bottom out, you're gonna hit it and you're gonna break it. So what the owner of this car did is he put a cage underneath the car to protect it. You'll see in the clip, it's very interesting looking, and it does look like it does the job. So onto the interior of this beautiful Alfa Romeo. First of all, when I sit in here, I notice that the speedometer is made by Jaeger, which I'm guessing is the watch company Jaeger-LeCoultre, which is kind of interesting. It's a really cool looking gauge, although it does display that the car is never going less than 18 miles an hour. Onto the gear shift knob, which is something I've never used really before. It's kind of like a Carrera GT, you know, it's like really close to the wheel so you can go back and forth quickly. I've always used shifters that are down here and it's kind of entertaining. Also, I love these leather seats in this cream color. They have a nice, somewhat of an Alcantara insert. It was kind of before it became popular, obviously, but that's what it seems to be. Also, I like the way the dashboard is black and the under dashboard is cream again. It's a very pretty look. Also, these mats are very cool. They say Alfa Romeo on them, which is very nice to look at. I kind of would like it if they had a metal Alfa Romeo badge here, but this looks cool too. So, another quirk this car has is it has the window power switches here, which I know isn't that interesting. A lot of cars have that. But this, to me, looked like a manual window roller. So when I went to get out of the car, I kind of looked for nothing because I assumed that that rolled up and down the window. Also, this is the aftermarket radio, so it is not the original. Everything else in here, though, is original. I also want to point out, you hear this noise? This is the exact same noise my 1992 Lazy Days RV makes when it's in reverse. I love it. And that's to say the door's open, by the way. Let's hear this baby purr. Oh, yeah. So I'm setting off in the Alfa Romeo Spider now. First thing I notice is, as someone who hasn't driven a lot of old manual cars, the clutch is a lot different and the gas pedal is a good amount different too. The clutch is just not as specific about where the engagement point is, and the gas pedal is a lot stiffer than I'm used to. Also, this transmission has really long throws. What I can say is it's really fun through the corners. The steering feels really attached, and also it is really responsive. So when you put your foot on the throttle, immediately you feel it react, which I really love. It feels like you're really connected with the car. You do have to be careful though, because a lot of times you think you're in gear, but you haven't thrown the shifter as far as you actually need to go. So the steering's really light, it feels really tossable. It's really makes the car fun. The ride is nice and soft. It's a good car for cruising around. But over bumps you can feel them, but it's not ridiculous. It's not like a Lotus or other small cars. I'd say it's more Miata-esque, where it's just kind of sporty, but it's also kind of soft. It's nice. It makes the car tell you what it's doing more. I love the open air feel of this car. It's just not, as a person who's not used to convertibles, it's a nice experience, especially on a day like this. It is pretty cool to have the gear shift knob close to the steering wheel too. It is nice and easy to go back and forth between them. It's a fun, sporty feel. And I think more cars today should adopt it, but driving positions like this are being ruined by infotainment systems. So the way it sounds really natural, I guess I would say. It doesn't sound like it's trying too hard. It's not making artificial noises, obviously. It was kind of before that time. And it just feels like a very nice car to drive. It's just a good sounding car, very smooth. Good turning radius. It's a lot of fun. And it's not fast by modern standards, but 9.5 seconds, it's not unreasonably slow for a small car this time. It only has 120 horsepower, but it is a really light car, so it does go a long way. Although I won't say it's like modern engines where the power is everywhere. It does react quickly, but it doesn't have torque all around the rev range. You do have to get in the right RPM to get going. But I wouldn't say it's a car you want to beat around. It's more like a car you want to cruise down a windy road or cruise down PCH in. It's not a car that you want to slide around or anything like that. It's just more of a place to enjoy a nice day. It's a lovely thing to drive, and it has a lot of personality. So it does have a slight problem with the lights, where when you stop for a long time, it kind of idles up and down. Now the owner of this car told me that there's like a somewhat of an emissions regulator on the car, and it kind of makes it idle funny. Also, I can tell you that the RPM gauge is a little off too, most likely, because when the car is off, it's about 400 RPM. When we get going here, I'll see if the speedo starts working when you're above about 15 miles an hour or so, because that's where it kind of rests at. But the car's got a lot of character. So now that I'm going, I can tell you for sure that the speedometer does work above 15 miles an hour. And it works well. And frankly, you don't really need to know what your car is doing below 15 miles an hour. So I think it's fairly usable. But that's some of the stuff that makes these cars great, these old Alfa Romeos. They have so much character, so much personality. It really makes them, as Jeremy Clarkson said, it makes them human. You know, if it doesn't have flaws, it really doesn't have as much of a personality. Anyways, thank you for watching, and thank you so much, Phil, for letting me film your car.